Hey guys, what's up? Welcome. I said I was gonna do this, kind of. I think, yeah, I did tell you I was gonna do this. Let me check my videos just to make sure. Oh, I got all the subscriptions. Yeah, yeah. I said I was gonna do this about a day or so, a day and a half ago, when I did the video when I had the house to myself on Tuesday evening for a little bit because my mom was at Bible study. But yeah, let me switch over here though. I just wanted to make sure everything was connected right. But yeah, we are doing exactly what I said we were going to do, and that is a tier maker list. That's right, we are doing a tier maker list. And I don't know why it's not showing on there, but we'll see. It should, yeah. When I had the house to myself on Tuesday. Yeah, everything's connected. I think it's just a little delayed, on television. But yeah, we are doing a tier maker list, guys. And what this tier maker list is as you see the title here, and I want to thank anybody that's joining me. Here, let me kind of make sure you guys are joining me. Let me see if I can find the share button here. Where is the? Oh, there it is. The share button. We're going to do that. Take this down. Take this. And then what I'm going to do, before I get into the list, guys, and I'll link probably a timestamp as to when I get to it. What we're going to do here is we're going to list off. We're going to list off a bunch of titles. As a matter of fact, I will show you what the categories are. These are the categories. Top one, which is usually S tier, is Discotek Release It Now. Those are titles that I believe, and I'm sure anybody else would agree, that Discotek needs to get their hands on right now and put out there very soon. The second one is Discotek Try to Get the Rights. In other words, it's it's my thought. Well, basically, it's my opinion. Well, okay, let me correct myself. Okay. The second one, like I said, Discotek Try to Get the Rights. Basically, it's my way, and I'm sure, like I said, some people may agree with this. It's my way of trying to tell Discotek, hey, these are titles you need to try to make a deal with other studios or with the current current holders of these titles to, license them to put onto Blu-ray or whatever in the future under your distribution, if you will. So yeah, that's what it is. So that's the second category of try to get the rights to these titles. In other words, talk to the people who currently own the rights to the series to make a deal with to try to be the distributor of them onto physical media. The third one is Discotek could try to get the rights. In other words, these are titles that Discotek could look into or have the potential of being the kind of titles that Discotek could try to think about getting the rights or just leaving as is and being like, hey, we'll just do something else instead. Or we'll let somebody else have it. The next one is so-so for Discotek to try for. In other words, it's kind of like back and forth. Like, yeah, they could try for it, but maybe it's not the best idea because, maybe it doesn't have, that much of a pull or a fan base behind it to want to see it. So it's kind of so-so. Like, yeah, they could try it just to throw it out there to get a few bucks here and there. But then again, they could just leave it as is and let somebody else get it. So that's what that one is. And then the last one is a big one. It's the last one, the final one here is Discotek should poll to see if fans want it. So in other words, what this is Discotek, and I'm sure they've done this before, is they should go out online, on the Twitter, on the Facebook, and basically poll the fans on whether or not they want certain titles. Like list off certain titles they can try to get the rights to or the licensing distributing to see if they want to see those get released on physical media by Discotek in the future. So the titles that will go there will be the ones that, again, I think Discotek should do a poll for to see which ones the fans want to see the most. Like the title that gets the most votes, that could be basically the priority title. Like, okay, fans want it, let's try to get it. So that's just my opinion. But yeah, But yeah, I think honestly fans should pull disco. But yeah, I think that's the category that Discotek should look into as we speak, to try to get the fans' opinion on whether or not they would like to see that on Blu-ray, on physical media, if you will, as part of maybe their, like I said, their SD on the SD on BD line. So I just linked this all here. But yeah, those are just, like I said, titles I think they should try for and try to, get out there and everything. Or not try for, but basically pull the fans and see whether or not the fans want to see those titles. And like I said, the title that gets the most votes should be the priority for them in the future. Should be the priority for them in the future, if you will. Okay, I'm just making sure everything is good here. Alright, so with that said, guys, let's get into it. Like I said, the top one is for, in my opinion, these are titles Discotek needs to release now. They need to try to find a way to get them out there right now. The other one is to try to get the rights. In other words, try to make an agreement with whoever currently owns the rights to the series to try to get some kind of thing going on so they could release it in the future. The other one is could try to get the rights. In other words, they could think about it. They could consider it, whether or not it's something they could pursue. The other one, so-so, for Discotek to try. In other words, it's kind of half and half. Like, it's like these are titles they could consider, but then on the other hand, they could just leave be and let other studios or video distributors, get them to distribute them in the future. And then the other one is Discotek should pull the fans to see if, to see what they want. In other words, basically put out a list of titles, fans would like to see, be released, and whatever one is the top winner should get would get the priority to probably be obtained by Discotek to be released, if that makes any sense. And by the way, guys, before we start and everything, we are, let me see where we're at here as I go live. I do apologize if there's any lag and all that. I do apologize for that. But as we go live, with almost 9 minutes in, let's do this, guys. Let's go out and do this and list off basically the titles in these categories. Now, right off the bat, we're going to start with Battle of the Planets here. Well, first of all, you can see we got all these here that are titles I think that I feel have a Discotek feel to them. So the first one I think would be, in my opinion, Discotek try to get the rights. And I think some people have gotten the rights already, but I think Discotek from a remastering standpoint, especially 4K, should try to get the rights to do a remastering 4K resolution. Battle of the Planets. I know some people are going to tell me Battle of the Planets has already been released on Blu-ray, Gatchaman and all that. I do understand that, but to me, Discotek I think is the perfect avenue for it, unless they've already done it, to try to do a 4K restoration of it down the line. So Battle of the Planets, I think, is one they should try to get the rights to. And by the way, guys, Super Chats and Super Stickers are opened. And whatever you guys could do would be greatly appreciated, whether it's $1, $3, $4, $5, whatever the case may be. Also, check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2 to help support me there financially, and at Cash App at BWRoses98. Also, check me out at deviantart.com/BEVW1979. Also, check me out at patreon.com/BWRoses to support me with a $1, $3 tier. Also, check me out, ladies and gentlemen, at my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Also at Vimeo at BWRoses for content you can't get here on YouTube due to copyright reasons. And that's about all I'm going to say there, so I can get caught up here. But yeah, you can find me there and help support me there in those areas as well. Oh yeah, also check me out at BWRoses Discussions, all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. But now, getting back on track, like I said, I know people might say Battle of the Planets has already gotten a Blu-ray release and all that. I do understand that. But I think if it's not Discotek, then I think Discotek should be the one, or if they already have, then I think they should try to re-release it or try to retain the rights to Battle of the Planet and give it more of a upgrade and restoration, like a 4K restoration, if you will. That's just my opinion. My opinion. All right. With that said, I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything here. Trying to make sure I don't. Okay, just making sure. With that said, next up, we have Sonic Underground, and this is definitely a Discotek Release It Now category. This is something that ever since Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was released on Blu-ray, that Discotek, in my opinion, needs to not basically hold off on any longer. We got the movie coming out within the next couple of weeks, and I think sooner rather than later, very sooner rather than later, Discotek needs to put Sonic Underground on to Blu-ray right away. It's enough to do one disc, maybe two discs if you want to go a little further. But to me, they need to do it right now. So definitely Sonic Underground is a release it now title for Discotek to do. In my opinion. Hold on for a sec. Go ahead, check something. I'm going to turn off my TV for a bit so I can save. Oh, did I have on? Yeah, got on game mode. Or game sound. Yeah, I was watching TV a little bit last night. I didn't realize I had.
I make sandwiches.
I had my TV on last night before I went to bed. I was so tired from work, I forgot to take it off the dynamic picture mode as well as the game sound mode because I was playing some games and all that, as you probably saw with the recent video that went up. But yeah, to me, Sonic Underground, to me, is definitely in that category of release it now. Now, the next title here is an anime that I'm sure has gotten a Blu-ray release. Not totally sure. But I think if Discotek were to get it, it's definitely something that could definitely result in a 4K restoration. So it's going to go, believe it or not, in the could try to get the category, and that is the what's it called? Patlabor. Let me look it up here, guys. You'll see the title when I put it up. Yeah, right there. It's this one. Patlabor. It's like labor, but Patlabor, the movie. That is one that right here, Discotek, I think should look into. I really do. Let me see if it got a Blu-ray release already. But yeah, I think it is something that they should look into. I'm not really sure. Let me see here. And of course, it's got a couple of movies there. So let's see if it's got a Blu-ray release already. No. Oh yeah. Okay. The first Blu-ray was released. The first film was on Blu-ray and DVD in 2015. But that was about almost 7 years ago, guys. That's going to be 7 years ago. So I think definitely now is the time to bring Patlabor back to Providence on Blu-ray, and I think it's something that Discotek should try to get the rights to for a 4K restoration, in my opinion. So yeah, I definitely feel that Discotek should try to get the rights to Patlabor, the movie, if not all three movies, to do a 4K restoration on. Next one, I'm gonna probably put into the so-so category. Like, yeah, they could try for it, but then again, they could go, they could just go and ignore it and let somebody else get in. And that is Foofer. That's right, Foofer, who I don't think has ever gotten a, I don't think he ever got a physical release. I don't think he's ever gotten a physical DVD or Blu-ray release. But yeah, Foofer, I definitely think. Let me see if it's ever gotten no. The last release it got was under the Just for Kids label. So no, I think if they want to, I think basically because of that, it is sort of a so-so title, in my opinion. I think it's a so-so title that Discotek could try for, but then they could pass on. It's kind of 50-50 for them. So yeah, Foofer is a so-so title, in my opinion. Alright, next up here, ladies and gentlemen, we have Voltron, Defender of the Universe, recently coming off its legendary Defender series on Netflix, which everybody's been praising. I'll give it credit because, as I've said before, Legendary Defender, not only did it surprise us, but being good and staying true to the Voltron mythos and all that for a new generation, but it surprised us by doing things we wouldn't expect. Like with Pidge, we didn't think they would do something like what they did, but they basically did it. They made Pidge have a story arc and gave Pidge a reasoning for being on the Voltron Force, because in this interpretation, Pidge is revealed to be a girl. Now, nobody knew about that. I think until what, later on in the first or second season. Nobody knew about that, and I think it was Hawk that found out. And Pidge is there because she wants to try to find her brother. So yeah, Pidge. They turned Pidge into a girl, and they did it great. They did it, in my opinion, flawlessly. In my opinion, flawlessly, I should say. They did it flawlessly because, again, if they just would have just came out and said, "Oh, she's a girl" and all that, it wouldn't have gotten, it wouldn't have probably gotten the best reception. But incorporating it into the story, where she disguises herself as a guy, but it's revealed she's a girl, and there's a reasoning for it, I think is great. And then, of course, you have the Princess Aurora, I think that's her name. I love the fact that they didn't just put her into the Blue Lion right away, like the original did. I mean, the original, depending on what version you have or you watch, to me, kind of went back and forth on it too. But to me, definitely Voltron. Oh, I guess I have more copies of Voltron here. Who knew? I thought I had just one. Never mind. But yeah, Voltron to me. But yeah, like I said, they didn't put Princess Aurora in the Blue Lion right away. They worked the way up to it. They worked to a point where the guy that was killed off in the original series in the 80s, basically, he's still piloting it until you get to a certain point where he can't do it anymore, and now Aurora takes over, and I like that. So, Voltron to me is definitely under that title. Oh, actually, I'm going to use a better picture. Hold on, I got more pictures here. Voltron to me is definitely under that category of Discotek try to get the rights to, for as part of the SD on BD release. They should try to do it, and along with it, they should also try to get its Japanese counterpart, Go Lion, because if you're going to release, because one thing I'll give Anime Works when they distributed it and all that, is at least they realized, hey, if we're going to do Voltron, the English version, or the English adaptation, we need to do the one it's based off of. We need to do the original Japanese anime. And in my opinion, you know, by releasing both Go Lion along with Voltron and the other original anime versions of Voltron along with the English adaptations, I think was a great move. And to me, Discotek needs to get the rights from Anime Works to do it again here and make it part of the SD on BD line. If not, maybe work with them to try to restore it for a full Blu-ray release that goes on multiple discs instead of just two to 3 to 4 discs. You know, like, you know, the standard SD on BD titles are. So to me, definitely, Discotek, you have to get the rights to this. You need to get the rights to this no matter what. Get the rights to this. Get it. And I guarantee you will have fans happy that you did. Believe it or not. So yeah, Discotek, try to get the rights to Voltron and its anime counterpart, or its Japanese original version, I should say, Go Lion. Alright, next up we have Captain N, the Game Master, and they could try for this. I think they could try to get the rights to Captain N, the Game Master. Of course, they would have to work with Nintendo to make this happen. But I think they should try to get the rights to Captain N and the Game Master for the SD on BD label. And I think fans would be cool with it. I think fans would really be cool with it. But it's up to them. They could try to get the rights, try to work something out with Nintendo and Deke Entertainment, and go from there. But we'll see. We shall see. Alright, here's one that I think is so-so, in a way. Kid Video. Now, I know some people would say it's, oh, no, hold on, let me rewind back there. Let me rewind back. Now, I know some people might say that Kid Video would be a complimented, copyrighted mess to try to figure out, right? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But here's the thing. This is coming from somebody that when sites like iOffer were up online and going, and allowing people to purchase things that they couldn't purchase anywhere else, mostly like DVD DVD versions of original VHS recordings. To me, when I look at something like Kid Video, I see the potential for something that could sell, no matter who would get the rights. But again, I understand it would be a complicated mess because originally Kid Video, you know, as described by Rob the Wonderful, if you will, by Rob the Wonderful, Kid Video was basically NBC's answer in the early to mid 80s to MTV's rise in popularity. In other words, Kid Video was used as a platform not just to show the animated adventures of this band that got sucked into a cartoon world and everything, but also it was used as a platform to showcase music videos that you could only see on MTV in the early days of VH1, if you had them as part of your cable package. And if you didn't, you were, crap out of luck, if you know what I mean. So Kid Video was essentially made for that to happen, or made to, be that platform. It also gave exposure to the men and women, the actors and the actresses that they brought together as the Kid Video band to be a legit band. Believe it or not, when I was watching Rob the Wonderful's review on this, he said that they were big in Israel as a band because they got an album, which is, common for the time. If you want to promote a fictional band as a legit band and you're making this kind of a show for them, you want to do that. And obviously it proved to be a popular situation for those in Israel that loved Kid Video. Anyway, getting back on topic here a little bit. Like I said, I think this is something that they should look into. I think it's something they should look into and probably, and consider. I mean, they should look into and consider being like a so-so title they could go after. But like I said, I know people would say it would be a complicated copyrighted mess because the only way they'd be able to release the show is they got to edit out all the music videos that are in it. And unless they want to go through a complicated licensing of, hey, we want to incorporate all these, we want to distribute the kid video series and, in its original format, which includes the music videos too, unless they want to do that, then it's something that you could probably pass on. So to me, it is a so-so title of they could try to pursue it and try to work out some kind of deal to where they don't have to go through a complicated copyrighted mess because of the music videos within said episodes, or they could just pass on it and let somebody else have that headache instead. So yeah, kid video is a so-so title. Next up, Alf. Alf is one that, believe it or not, I'm going to put in, along with the spin-off Alf Tales, in Discotek should pull the fans, basically it's going to go in a category where Discotek should poll to see if fans want it. That's what I was trying to say. It's in the category of Discotek should poll to see if fans want it. Now I know news came out that Alf is probably going to get revived through Shout Factory, and it's going to be an online thing. And that's cool and all that, which means Shout Factory would get the rights to distribute the series. But here's the thing. The series, the animated series mostly, was I think a Dick animated property. And right now they're shopping around to anybody that would like to distribute them. So to me, Discotek should look into Alf and Alf Tales as a title they could put on a poll, if you will, to see whether or not fans want to have it released on SD as part of the SD on Blu-ray series. So to me, Alf and the Alf Tales spinoff is a couple of series that should be put into a poll by Discotek to see if fans want them released or not as part of the SD on BD lineup. Alright, next up here we have Archies Weird Mysteries. And I'm gonna go and say Discotek try to get the rights to it. That's right. I mean, I know some people may not be high on Archie sometimes, especially the direction they've been going in with Riverdale and all that. But I think Weird Mysteries is a series that they should try to get the rights to, because I watched it back when it came out and I thought it was good. I thought it was all right. Frank Hill, it's Frank, sent me the original series. He sent me the series. So yeah, it's definitely a title, in my opinion, that I definitely think could make some money for Discotek. I definitely think could make some money for Discotek if they try to get the rights. So to me, Discotek, try to get the rights to Archie's Weird Mysteries, because I think you'll be surprised of how much fans will appreciate having something like that as part of your SD on BD lineup or series of releases. Alright, next one I think they should try to get the rights to would be Black Star. Now, this was an early 80s series. I was still kind of still young when it came out, but from what I understand, it is definitely a series that basically I think would really benefit, that I think Discotek could try to get the rights to, try to work something out with whoever has the rights currently. So yeah, I definitely think it's something they should try to get the rights to. As I'm trying to make sure I get the next images correct. I try to identify the next images here. But yeah, I definitely think it's something that Discotek could try to get the rights to. They don't have to, but they could try to get the rights, because it's something that I in my opinion, lines up with their kind of titles that they could release on DVD. Or not DVD, but on Blu-ray as part of the SD on BD. So Black Star, I think, could be a title they could try to get the rights to distribute on SD on BD. Next up is Care Bears. And Care Bears, I think I'm going to put in the category of Discotek should poll to see if fans want it. In other words, I don't doubt that Care Bears wouldn't be a huge hit. I wouldn't doubt that. But to me, honestly, I think it's a title that, like with Alf and Alf Tales, falls in the category of put it on a poll to see if fans want it. And if they vote for it as the most, wanted title, then pursue it. Try to pursue the rights to it. But yeah, that to me basically is a title. That's a title that I think, they should pursue. As I check something here, guys, I want to make sure I get some of these pictures correct. So I do apologize for just one moment here. Trying to see what this one is here. Hold on. Un momento, guys. Oh, okay. I already talked about that one. That's another image of Patlabor, the movie. So that was another image. All right. So, and if you're wondering why I have so many images, again, it's just something like this. So we'll put that right here, so it's like kind of in that category, if you will. So next up, we have Rainbow Bright. And to me, I think this is I'm going to go with a so-so type. Because I don't know who has the rights to Rainbow Bright right now, but it is one of those titles that either way, it's going to sell. Whether Discotek gets the rights or somebody else gets the rights. So I'm going to say so-so for right now with Rainbow Bright, to where it could be 50-50 with them. Let me check the pictures again here, guys, because I just want to make sure I get everything right here. Hold on. Okay, I see what that one is now. Okay. But like I said, it's kind of a so-so deal with Rainbow Bright. And, yeah, I think, either way it could sell. Either Discotek gets the rights for it, or somebody else gets the rights for it to put on Blu-ray. I think it'll sell either way. But it's one of those titles that I think Discotek could be so-so with. All right, next up we have Denver, The Last Dinosaur. And to me, I think it's going to go in the could try to get the rights to. I mean, I grew up watching Denver. I like Denver. There's no doubt about that. But to me, it's one of those titles that Discotek could try to pursue to put on as part of the SD on BD lineup. And I think if they could, decide to try to pursue it, it would definitely sell. Like if Discotek could try to get the rights to distribute Denver the Last Dinosaur as part of the SD on BD series of releases, it would definitely sell. Because everybody loves Denver. It's a very kind of 80s, early 90s iconic series. Like I said, I watched it, and a lot of people liked it. I mean, the theme song definitely is very memorable. And to me, I think a lot of fans would really appreciate this potentially getting a Blu-ray release in some kind. And if Discotek could try to get the rights to it, I think they would have a huge hit on their hands. All right, next up we have Cops. Yes, Cops, the animated series. And I definitely think it's a title that Discotek needs to try to get the rights to. They need to try to get the rights to it. I don't think there's no getting around it. It is definitely a title that fans would really, really get behind. And yeah, it's not a question of could they try to get the rights. No, it's a question of trying to get the rights, and I think they need to pursue getting Cops, under the belt to announce as the next SD on BD licensed title that's coming to be part of that lineup of releases that they've already have released and plan to release in the future. So I'm definitely going to go with Cops as being a title that Discotek should try to get the rights to. Next up, we have Dinosaurs, and I think Dinosaurs is going to be a title that Discotek should poll to see if fans want to see it. And I wouldn't doubt that if Dinosaurs was put in a poll along with Alf Tales, Care Bears, and other titles, that it would be something fans would get behind. I would not be against that whatsoever if if Dinosaurs was put on a poll and maybe even won that poll to potentially get released by Discotek. But yeah, Dinosaurs definitely to me falls in that category of, Discotek should put the poll out to see if fans want to see it released. Next up, we have Revolutionary Girl Utena, the movie, as well as the anime that it's based around. And I definitely think it's a title that needs to be released now. And the reason I say that is I think it's one of those unique titles that once Discotek says, hey, we're going to put this on Blu-ray for everybody to have, either it's SD on BD or if they've gone and done a restoration on it, it's definitely a title that, in my opinion, would sell. And it would sell based on the reputation it has due to the fact that it's a retelling of the original story from the anime and the manga, but it's also remembered for its WTF ending. Yeah, it's WTF ending, if you catch my drift. So to me, Discotek, you need to release this now. You need to release it. If you have the rights, do it now. If you don't have the rights, go get on the phone right now, call whoever has the rights, say we want to put this on Blu-ray, we even want to go as far as to restore it. To me, this is a title that, again, despite the fact that it's a retelling of the anime and the manga, it's beautifully animated, but its reputation precedes itself, especially with its ending. So to me, it's definitely a, release it now title, in my opinion. All right, next up is Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to say this. I think they could. I think they should. I think Discotek try to get the rights. They should try to get the rights, and the reason I say that is because despite its reputation, depending on the overall media, despite its reputation, it is a very popular IP. And if Discotek could try to get the rights to distribute it on Blu-ray as part of the SD on BD lineup in time for the movie next year, I think they would have a bestseller. So Discotek, if I was you, I'd try to get the rights to Dungeons and Dragons, the animated 80s series, to put onto Blu-ray as part of your SD on BD series. Next up, we have the Get Along Gang, and I think the Get Along Gang is a so-so title. Again, it falls in that category of, yeah, they could pursue it for the SD on BD lineup in 4K, but mostly SD on BD. And it's a title they could just pass on. So it's so-so. Get Along Gang is so-so. Even though I grew up on it, all of us grew up on it, it's a so-so title, in my opinion. It is a so-so title. And I think fans, that not only fans, but Discotek could pass on either way. They can pass on either way. Next up, The Littles. And The Littles is definitely a series that Discotek, I believe, could try to get the rights to for SD on BD. It's very popular. Everybody loves The Littles. And I don't think there's any question, without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion, it is not a question without a shadow of a doubt, that if they got the rights to distribute this as part of the SD on BD lineup, it would sell. So yeah, the Littles falls under the category of Discotek could try to get the rights. Now let me check the images again, guys, so I don't get nothing confused here, and I'm getting everything corrected. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, my computer kind of had some. Okay. Oh, I know what this one is. This is this one. This is definitely a title I think Discotek try to get the rights to. Angel's Egg. Now I'm sure it's gotten a Blu-ray release already. I'm not really sure. Let me double check that. Let me double check this. Angel's Egg. Let's see. No, it hasn't got no Blu-ray. So yeah, this is definitely a title that I definitely think Discotek should try to get the rights to, because obviously it's one of those animes that flies under the radar, but there's a lot of anime enthusiasts and hardcore, not so hardcore animation historians that know about it. So I think Discotek definitely should try to get the rights to Angel's Egg. I think they will. Be happy with getting those rights, because if they come out at the next media day and say, "Hey, Angel's Eggs is going to be released on Blu-ray with a 4K restoration or whatever," by them, fans will be pre-ordering that no time flat, in my opinion. All right, next up, let me just again make sure I get some of these images right, so I don't screw up here. I think, let me see which one this is. I know there was something that said what it was. I'm not really sure. I think this is Wicked City, I think. Let me go back and check, guys. Hold on, I do apologize. Like I said, what culture? Oh, you got to go through the pages again. Okay, yeah, it is Wicked City. So, let's see. Wicked City, I'm going to see if I think they've gotten a Blu-ray release. I already had one recently. But just make sure. See. Okay, so they do have the rights. They do have the rights. So to me, it says Discotek. Let's see, Discotek. Let's see. And at a panel, they have acquired the movie and re-released the movie on DVD. Okay, so they do have the rights to it. So to me, if they have the rights, then Discotek, what are you waiting for? Release it now. Release it now on Blu-ray. Release it with a 4K restoration. And honestly, if you do that, Discotek, anybody that's a fan of the Wicked City titles, I think would really appreciate it. So to me, Discotek, release it now. If you have the rights to it still, release Wicked City now. Fans would definitely, especially anime enthusiasts, would be happy you did. The next one up, all the YuGiOhs so far. Well, maybe the first couple of them, like the first, let's see, YuGiOh, YuGiOh GX, 5Ds, Yeah, basically I'd say the first fourth 5Ds, Arc 5, I think. Yeah, so YuGiOh, overall, Discotek try to get the rights to it. I know we have, I know they're currently owned by this, what, Synedren, if you will, and they've done some Blu-ray releases, but I think Discotek would be the best option for them to do a complete Blu-ray series release, period. I mean, look what they're doing with Digimon. They have restored Digimon for a full Blu-ray release, probably on multiple discs, not just 2, 3, or 4, which is standard for SD on BD, but probably multiple ones. So I think YuGiOh could fall into that category too. And if Synedren doesn't want to do it, then I think honestly Discotek should try to work out a deal with Synedren right now, who I think owns the rights, as well as Konami and Shonen Jump. You know, work something out with them to get the distributing rights to put the series on Blu-ray, whether it's part of the SD on BD series or giving it the same treatment Digimon is getting right now for its release on Blu-ray. I think Discotek needs to pursue this, and they need to pursue it now, because I guarantee you, with the fan base that YuGiOh still has, just like with Pokemon to an extent, it will sell. It will sell like hotcakes, in my opinion. So Discotek, try to get the rights to the YuGiOh series, for the anime series, that is, for Blu-ray release in the future, whether it's SD or restored. Next up, I think, is another series they should try to get the rights to, and that's Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats. Again, I know, but just like with Kid Video, it could be a complicated mess because it's two different rights, two different copyright situations. But if that was the case, then the series wouldn't have seen release on DVD. If that was the case, the series wouldn't be on Paramount Plus right now. So to me, I think Discotek should try to get the rights to Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats to put as part of the SD on BD lineup, in my opinion. Because if they do that, ladies and gentlemen, that will sell. It may not be a hot seller, but everybody loves Heathcliff. And everybody loves the Cadillac Cats, especially Cleo. And I say that with all due respect, no offense. So, to me, Discotek pursuing and trying to get the rights to put Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats on SD on BD as part of that series of releases, I think it would be a great move, and I'm all for it. All right, so the next one is could try to get the rights, and that's the Masters of the Universe, He-Man and She-Ra, the original Filmation series. I know that Universal and DreamWorks own the rights right now, but all they've ever done is just DVD releases. I think if they partner with Discotek, kind of go, 50-50, and allow Discotek to be the ones to release the series onto Blu-ray as part of both series, if you will, along with Secret of the Sword, the movie that bridged the gap between He-Man and She-Ra. I think if they allow a Discotek to do that in a partnership that's 50-50, it would benefit both sides. Truly, it would benefit both sides. So to me, Discotek could try to get the rights to Masters of the Universe, both He-Man and She-Ra, along with the movie that bridges the gap between the two, Secret of the Sword, in a possible 50-50 partnership with Universal and DreamWorks to put onto Blu-ray, especially as part of the SD on BD series. Alright, next up we have the Super Mario Brothers. Super Show. It's me, and Mario, if you will. Super Mario Brothers Super Show. I think, honestly, they need to try to get the rights to this. I know, just like with Kid Video, there is some complication with, some of the live-action sequences and all that. But here's the issue on that. I know with some of the live-action sequences, it's, like I said, there's copyright situations. I know that with some of the music that's played in the series at times to accompany what you're seeing on screen is copyrighted. I do get that. But I think Discotek, with all that said, could try to get the rights. And if I'm Discotek, not only would I try to get the rights, but I'd also put an notion, kind of like a note to to the fans that would probably buy this as part of the SD on BD lineup, that there's going to be some changes. Like, yeah, you're going to get the series, but there might be a few things removed due to copyright reasons and such. Unless they, of course, they're able to work something out and everything. I think the best shot with them getting the release, or trying to get the release, or not the release, but the rights to Super Mario Bros. Super Show for SD on BD. I think the best option is to go the route that N-Circle and Shout Factory and others had to go down for quite some time. And that's basically, if you're going to have the live action sequences in there, that's fine. But the music, that's a different story. That's, when it's within the show, that's a different story. So definitely Discotek, try to get the rights no matter how you do it. Because I believe with the Mario movie coming out later this year, fans would go crazy for an SD on BD release of the Mario Brothers Super Show, and even the other Mario series that came after, Adventures of Super Mario 3 and Super Mario World. Alright, next up we have Inspector Gadget, and I definitely think this is one that they should try to get the rights to as well. Everybody loves Inspector Gadget, and this is the original 80s series, so I definitely think it's something that they could try to get the rights to and put on as part of the SD on BD lineup. And believe me, if they do that, fans would rejoice. Because again, like I said, everybody loves Inspector Gadget. Everybody loves him. So to me, getting Inspector Gadget, if you will, on SD on BD or part of the SD on BD series, would be perfect. So Discotek, try to get the rights to Inspector Gadget to put that as part of your SD on BD series. Next up, we have Jayce and the Wheeled Warriors, and this is one that I definitely believe goes in the category try to get the rights to, because we only so far have gotten a complete series release, well, 2 volumes worth, thanks to, I think, Mill Creek, as well as an attempt by not Shout Factory, but somebody else. But to me, Discotek, I think, should really look into Jayce and the Wheeled Warriors as a potential, SD on BD title, because it fits, again, like I said earlier about another title, it fits in the category of what, has made the SD on BD series of releases very popular. So to me, Discotek, if you're listening, if you're watching this later, definitely try to get the rights to Jayce and the Wheeled Warriors for your SD on BD series of releases, because there's a lot of people that grew up with it in the 80s, and some people that are discovering it now that would probably pick it up just for, the nostalgicness of the series, as well as be able to have all the episodes on just 2 discs and not multiple discs. Alright, next up we have Filmation's Ghostbusters. That's right, that Filmation series that was based on that 70s series, that live action 70s series. And to me, this is kind of a so-so. Like, they could go back and forth with it. They could try to go for the rights. They could try not to. Either way, it's either a pass. It's either like I said, it's 50-50 for them. It's like it's a go-getter or it's a pass. So Filmation's Ghostbusters is like a go-getter, but it's it could also be a pass. Next up, we have Ulysses 31. And to me, this is definitely could try to get the rights category, because I think fans that, grew up on Ulysses in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and those that started to discover Ulysses 31 later on, I think would appreciate if Discotek could try to get the rights to it. This is not a title that they should get the rights to, but it's one they could consider trying to get the rights to later on down the line to put on as part of the SD on BD series. But we'll see what they do. But to me, it's definitely a title they could try to get the rights to. Alright, here's one that's kind of like in the pole position. Like Discotek should poll to see if fans want it. And that is Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. And again, just like with Kid Video and just like with Super Mario Brothers, there are some issues there that could be a copyright nightmare, or it could be a dream come true because they could work something out with WWE to try to make this happen. So to me, it would definitely be, you know, a good acquirement, I should say, or acquisition by Discotek to try to make it happen. But I think it's one of those titles that before they do anything, they should poll the fans and see whether or not they would want Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling on SD on BD, or as a potential title they could release on SD on BD in the future. Next up, we have Pole Position. This is a series that came out in the early 80s, and it is definitely a series that I think they could get the rights to. They could get the rights to. And I think if they did, fans would probably buy it. It's not a should try to get the rights or release it now. It's a could try to get the rights. Like, they could consider it and be like, well, there's Pole Position. That fits our category. Let's try that and go from there. So, to me, like I said, it's definitely, like I said, a could try to get the rights to. Next up, we have RoboCop, and this is the original 80s animated series that was based on the movie, and I think they should try to get the rights to it and Alpha Commando for SD on BD. And the reason I say that is because, to me, you know, you have these two different interpretations of RoboCop, and I think, honestly, fans would clamor for something like that. So if I'm Discotek, I would try to get the rights to both animated series to release onto Blu-ray as part of the SD on BD series, in my opinion. All right, next up, well, of course, this is going to go right to the top. We're talking Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic SatAM. This is definitely a release it now title. Again, if Discotek got the rights to Adventures, there's no doubt that there's no doubt in my mind they are finalizing getting the rights to both Underground and SatAM. And SatAM, along with Underground, definitely falls in the category of a title that needs to be released now. Because just like with Underground, you got the movie coming out in a couple of weeks. So to me, I think it would be very beneficial that while the movie's out in theaters, before it hits, you know, streaming or whatever, 45 days later, I think, you know, Discotek would be very wise, in my opinion, to announce the release of SatAM and Underground as part of the SD on BD series. So yeah, it's definitely a release it now thing when it comes to Discotek, in my opinion. So Discotek, release it now when it comes to Sonic SatAM, Sonic the Hedgehog. Next up, we have Starcom, and Starcom, in my opinion, it's a so-so. I mean, I haven't seen Starcom that much, but from what people have said, it's one of those shows that is good. It's decent, but to me, I think it's a so-so title. Like, they could, you know, go for it, or they could pass on it, and, you know, and let somebody else have it. So it's a so-so title, in my opinion. But yeah, Starcom, they could go either way. They could go, yeah, let's get the rights and let's distribute it. Or they could say, it's a good show, but we'll pass on it, let somebody else have it. So yeah, it falls into that category, in my opinion, of so-so. Next up, we have Legend of Zelda, and I definitely believe, just like with Mario Brothers, the Legend of Zelda animated series, they need to get the rights to. They should try to get the rights to for SD on BD release, because just like with Mario Brothers, you know, that I talked about earlier, I think, and as well as Captain N, it's definitely a series that, you know, if they get it, if they try to get the rights, or could get the rights, would sell very well. So to me, Mario Brothers, Zelda, you know, into an extension below, as you can see, where it's in the could try to get the thing, I think it would definitely be beneficial for them financially if they could get something working with Nintendo to make this happen. But yeah, just like with Mario Brothers, it's definitely a title they should try to get the rights to. Next up, we have GaiKing. Now, the reason I bring up GaiKing is because every time I turn on my TV lately, over the past couple of months, it goes automatically, or starts up automatically on the Samsung Plus channel, and then yeah, it's well not the channel, but it starts up on the Samsung Plus service, the free service, and one of the channels and the channel that's on there is the anime channel, the anime all day channel, and one of the series that they rotate in and out is GaiKing, mostly the Japanese version. And I've watched that, and I'm thinking, why is this not in English? But the more I kind of like would watch clips here and there before switching over to Xfinity, I would notice that the GaiKing, the original Japanese vocals, version, is a little bit more in depth. It's like a little bit more mature than it's originally targeted towards. So to me, GaiKing, I definitely could see them, I could definitely see GaiKing being one of those titles that they could try to get the rights to. So to me, I'm going to put GaiKing in the could try to get the rights. Now, before I do the next one, I want to make sure I got everything corrected, because I do have, like I said, two images, obviously, Patlabor. But what is this one? Let me check this one, guys. Hold on for a sec. Hold on for a sec while I check something here. And this is, yeah, it's Patlabor. Yeah, it's Patlabor. So I was right about that. I think. Let me go check, guys. I get kind of confused here. I do apologize. For getting a little confused here, because I want to make sure I get everything correct. So we're going to go back to Walt Culture. Big shout out to Walt Culture, if you will. The one thing about these websites, I will say, though, is that they got too many pop-ups. If you catch my drift. Oh no, that's okay. So the one, okay. So that one I have. That just okay. So this one right here is called Royal Space Force: The Rings of Hanamsman, and yeah, it could be a title they could try to get the rights to. So Royal Space Force. Let me correct myself on that one. Royal Space Force and Patlabor, I think, if that's the one that comes up next. Yeah, Patlabor is definitely titles that I could see going in. So good thing I kind of double checked. So this is Royal Space Force. I could definitely see that as a title they could try to get the rights to. And Patlabor is another one I think they could try to get the rights to release again, or at least remaster for restoration. Both these along with Ricket City. So next up we have, last but not least, Marvelous Memlo. That's right, the 1970 series Marvelous Memlo. And in case you guys don't know what the series is about, I've talked about it before. But what it is it's about a young girl who loses her mom in a car accident. And her mom, who's now in heaven, asks God to provide her daughter with something to help that will help her daughter take care of herself and her brother and all that. So what does God do? He gives her 2 pills. And it's real complicated, but one of them allows her to age up to a full adult. And depending on the combination of the pills, she either could age up even further to where she becomes an old lady. She can age down to an infant if she felt like it. And again, depending, like I say, on the combination, she can even shrink down to an embryo and then reborn herself or rebirth herself as an animal. She could turn herself into an animal, if you will. And let me just tell you this. The intro that Shadowlord.Inc. put up for Memlo brings up a lot of questions, because apparently it shows her towards the end of the intro turning into different animals, one of the last animals she turns into is a doe, a female deer, who runs up to a male deer, kisses him, and just leans to him, and his heart's going around. Like, to me, it's like, what are you trying to say here with this intro? Are you saying that if she felt like it, she'll turn into a female deer or doe and spend the rest of her life there? It's like, what the heck? But as far as Marvelous Memlo goes, I definitely think it's a title that they should try to get the rights to. Because it's a classic 70s anime. It's one of the, many would consider one of the first magical girl animes out there, if you will, that, really set the standard for things like Sailor Moon and Dragon Hunter Rem and all of them that came afterwards. So yeah, I think it's definitely a title that they should try to get the rights to for distributing on Blu-ray, especially part of the SD on BD series. But with that said, though, guys, that's gonna do it for this tier maker. Probably one of the smallest tier makers I've done in a while. But to recap here, at the bottom. These are Discotek. These are titles that Discotek should poll to see if fans want them. That being Alf and Alf Tales, Care Bears, Dinosaur, and Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. Next up, we have So-So. In other words, they could pass. They could, go for it or pass on it. We have Foofer, Kid Video, Rainbow Bright, Get Along Gang, Filmation's Ghostbusters, and Starcom. Then, next up, we have the category of Discotek could try to get the rights. And that would be Royal Space Force, Patlabor, the movie, Captain and the Game Master, Black Star, Denver the Last Dinosaur, The Littles, both Masters of the Universe series, He-Man, She-Ra, and the Secret of the Sword movie, which bridges the gap between both series, Ulysses 31, Pole Position, and GaiKing. And then the second category going up, or second category from the top, these are titles that Discotek try to get the rights to, or Discotek try to get the rights. We have Battle of the Planets, Gatchaman, Voltron, the original 80s series, as well as its original Japanese version, Go Lion, Archies Weird Mysteries, Cops, Dungeons and Dragons, Angel's Egg, all the YuGiOh series up to, let's say, between the original and 5Ds, if not Arc 5 as well, Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats, Super Mario Brothers Super Show, depending on how they do it, Inspector Gadget, the 80s show, Jayce and the World Warriors, RoboCop, the original 80s animated series, and Alpha Commando, Legend of Zelda, the animated series, and Marvelous Memlo. Those are series that Discotek try to get the rights to. And then these here are the Release It Now titles. We have Sonic Underground, Sonic SatAM, Revolutionary Girl Utena the movie, and Wicked City. So those are the titles, guys. Those are all the titles of animes and cartoons from the 80s that I think Discotek needs to bring to Blu-ray and 4K, depending on how they do it. And yeah, I think these are titles that they could definitely invest in the future, because I think in the end it'll be something that, I think it'll be something financially that will, be, like I say, be beneficial for them and maybe whoever they partner with to make it happen. But what are your guys' thoughts? How do you feel about some of the choices here? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. Comment, like I said, let me know down below in the comment section, guys. And that's really all I'm going to say. Again, to find me elsewhere, you could find me at my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Also, you could check me out at BW Rose's Discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Also, check me out at Vimeo at BW Roses for content you can't get here on YouTube due to copyright reasons. Also, check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2 to help support me there financially as well. Also, check me out at Cash App at BW Roses 98. And check me out at deviantart.com/BVW1979. And check me out at patreon.com/BWRoses to help support me there with the $1 or $3 tier. But again, guys, those are pretty much the titles and the categories I feel they need to be when it comes to Discotek, considering future titles, I should say, for distributing. And until next time, guys, thank you all for joining me live and joining me later on, for those that are probably going to watch this after you get off work or out of school. And until then, guys, I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care. I am out.